Hello StarCraft fans, this is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another daily Legacy of the Void upload. This is a game between The Economist and Barcode on Orbital Shipyard. In the top right of Orbital Shipyard, we have the red Terran player, it is The Economist. And in the bottom left of Orbital Shipyard, we have the blue Protoss player, it is Barcode. Once again, that little glitch there. When you zoom in and there's Chrono Boost on the Nexus, it like messes up the alignment of stuff, and it freaks me out when I look at it from that close. See, it's still messed up there, huh? Anyway, this was submitted to me at falconpaladin@gmail.com. You too can send me replays to that address. If they are GM or Master's level, simply label them as GM or Master. If they are Gold to Diamond, label them Mid-Rank Madness. I'll cast one of those every single week on Tuesday. And if they're Bronze or Silver, you can send them to me at falconpaladin@gmail.com using the subject Into the Void. I do one of those every Friday night. I hope you've enjoyed that series. It's been really fun to cast. And hoping to get some more good games along that way. Okay, so a PvT here on Orbital Shipyard. A tale as told as time. We've seen a lot of this matchup on this particular map, and that's because this map is good. I know I get some complaints about why we see this map so frequently, and I don't think we've seen it as frequently as of late. But basically it's because you have this nice safe base down there, you have these gold bases that no one ever takes, and it's also kind of fun to see armies head down across this way while their opponent's coming up this way across the map, because then we have the passing of the night scenario, which is always very entertaining. This pro for Barcode just kind of zapping away at the supply depot, then going after the SCV instead. SCV fighting for its life with its little drills does force the enemy probe away, and he's going for a full wall off. The reason for this wall off, my friends, is Adepts. Because Adepts using the Psionic Transfer ability can go through other units, but cannot actually go through buildings. So the Psionic Transfer scouting method of getting into the main base with a shade that cannot be killed is not very viable against Terran who wall off, which is exactly why the Economist is choosing to do that. Meanwhile, looks like a gateway expand for Barcode. There's that gateway. There's the expand. There's the cybernetics core. Although, timing-wise, I wasn't paying attention. That might have been a cyber core before a Nexus. I don't know. I really don't. Anyway, nothing coming out of this gateway quite yet. Nexus now coming down, or Nexus, Command Center coming up for the Economist being constructed, as well as a second refinery. And we're going to see a factory here. Hey, you, make a factory. There you are. Excellent. Well done. Nice job making that factory, friend. And yeah, so not much else happening. Making a single stalker, not actually going for the early adept. I guess at this point, what's the point? Just because they can be walled off, they do well against early units like Marines, but these days, Terran players know better than to just send out 1 or 2 Marines in a scouting method, or a scouting effort against the Protoss, because those Adepts will eat them for lunch. We just don't see it. Mothership Core heading out on its own, very bravely, might I add. I'm not sure what this SCV is doing other than hiding out for some proxy tech, maybe a Ninja Expand. That could be fun. We'll keep an eye on that guy a little bit later on. And Starport? No. Wait, that's the factory. Okay. Yeah, we just moved the barracks up. There's the factory. Immediately going into a tech lab, a reactor on the barracks. We might actually swap these guys to where the barracks does get the tech lab, and the factory gets the reactor. For Hellions, let's see if the swap happens. Ready, set, go. Something. No, instead going for a Cyclone there. Alright, so the Economist does want to go for a single Cyclone. We've seen that fairly frequently on the channel. 2 more gateways being warped in, as well as a Twilight Council. And whoa, 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 hold your horses. Actually getting the Mag Field Accelerator. So it increases the Cyclone knock-on damage. It deals 400 damage plus 400 versus armored over 14 seconds to ground targets, and 400 damage plus 400 versus armored over 14 seconds to flying targets. Interesting indeed. Where is our Cyclone friend? There he is. Okay, so what that does is increases the damage done by the Cyclone to armored units, which is what Stalkers are. Stalkers are armored, so it increases the DPS output against that particular unit. Another Cyclone on the way. The Economist is actually committing to the Cyclone pressure. Somebody on my channel recently said, why on earth does anybody make Cyclones anymore? 400 damage is not very much over 14 seconds. That's an eternity. And the Economist says, you know what, I'm going to make sure this works. So here we go. Here at this master level game. On the ladder, the Economist actually going for at least 2 Cyclones and probably more, again, based on the fact that the Mag Field Accelerator is being researched. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and see what happens. Another factory and another factory. Yeah, definitely going for a mech style play here. Oh, the Economist, can you make this happen? Can you make Terran dreams of mech come true? I don't know if you can, but I'd love to see you try. And trying, you are. Blink, being researched. Barcode also getting additional gateways. Not planning to go for a third nexus, it doesn't look like. Doesn't have enough minerals to do so. Continuing for more of a 2-base push with the Warp Prism. Maybe going for a Blink Stalker attack. Are these more gateways? Yeah, so how many gateways are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is this a 2-base 7-gate attack? This might just be a 2-base 7-gate Blink Stalker style attack, which, I don't know, can be really strong against Terran, although with tanks and cyclones coming up for the Economist, I don't know how effective it will be. Again, Blink Stalkers, they just hit so hard and they're so mobile, they can dodge out of the range of siege tank hits. And they can also take shots from Cyclones while sniping them down. And here's that scenario I was talking about earlier. The Cyclones heading north over this middle section, and the Stalkers heading south, north, up towards this, past the middle section towards the Terran base. There's a tank here. There are some Hellbats. There's a Marine. But the Cyclones bypass everything. They come right on in. They check for a third base. There's not a third base, which tells him there's definitely some kind of 2-base attack coming in here. The Cyclones using their ability to do extra damage to the Stalkers and actually killing 2 of them. Whoa, but the Blink Stalker does kill one of the Cyclones in revenge. The Cyclone trying to head on home, using the lock-on ability here, staying exactly out of range. And look at that, takes down a Stalker in what, 4 hits? Is that what it is? We need to pay attention here. Let's see if we can actually get another one. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, he died before our scientific experiment could complete. Oh no, Cyclone, why? Yeah, this is pretty much just mass Stalker coming in here with the Warp Prism, allowing for that warp in at the front door of the Economist. And I'm not sure the placement of the siege tank is great. Maybe a little bit further back. Blink Stalkers can get close enough to kill it there. Also, Hellbats, maybe not a great answer either. But Production Tab continuing to work here for the Economist. Barcode is making another Nexus on the behind of this attack. Going to use the Observer and the Blink up onto the main base. Oh no, the tanks need to get into position to deal with this. And they do actually manage to get in there and doing some splash damage. SCV is being forced to pull off the line as well. The Stalkers coming right on in, killing a single tank. Going after the other tank, taking a lot of damage from these Hellbats, though, and blinking forward to get yet another tank. No, this tank manages to live. No, does actually getting destroyed there, and wow, all of those Stalkers died. What? 19 Stalkers died there. 19. It was it SCV? Were the Hellbats the heroes here? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Yeah, I guess the Hellbats have some good kill numbers. The SCVs as well, I bet, have some kills on them. If we take a look, we'll look at the injured ones. Hey guys, you have any stories to tell? You have any, maybe any Stalkers you killed? No, actually there weren't. So strange. I thought for sure the Blink Stalkers do a lot more damage than that, but pulling all the workers, again, having the tanks continue to do that splash damage and then extra damage versus armored was massive, as well as the Cyclones. I bet they helped a lot too, although I'm not sure if any of them survived the day. Anyway, so the Economist is continuing to go on this mech route, getting more tanks, a couple Marines, making a planetary fortress here at his third. Templar Archives being researched, and that Nexus is complete. The third Nexus is up for the Barcode player, otherwise known as Tim, because who knows who this guy really is. Transfer some of his workers down here to this base if he has a second to do so. Chrono boosting +1/+1 for his army, and a Disruptor. First Disruptor in the way. Meanwhile, an Adept drop back here gets cleaned up, because Hellions do extra damage against light, and that's what Adepts are. No, wait, are Adepts shielded? Armored? Ah, crud. Actually, I think they're armored. Come on in here again. Warp Prism heading up with another Adepts drop. Gonna try to make this happen, and maybe... Oh, actually dropping back here instead. Nope, the Adepts are light. They're light biological, which means the Hellions do extra damage to them. 14 to be exact. Another Adept drop back here, getting cleaned up by tank splashes and by Hellbats as well, although taking quite a few SCVs with them. This one already up to 3 kills before it gets evaporated by the Hellbats. 9 SCVs have been killed so far. It's 62 to 58 total workers in favor of the Protoss player right now, and feeling pretty darn handy indeed about this constant harassment. An Archon being morphed in for defense, and there it is. Roar, power overwhelming. Taking down this debris to take a base over here, and there's that Ninja Expand. Okay, so the Economist had an SCV sitting down here for approximately 9 minutes of the game, and finally made a Ninja Expansion at that point. He said, alright, I've had an SCV down there long enough, it's time. Observers are in great position here. Okay, Observer. In great position to see what is coming out from this base. The Economist sending out some tanks and some Hellbats that are not healed up at all. These guys, very low on HP, 2 and 3 hit points each. Actually, all three of these guys are very low. And 35. He is the healthiest of that trio. Another base coming up for Barcode. That is his 4th. And Warp Prism just kind of dancing around. Armory is, yep, getting vehicle weapons level 1 and vehicle and ship plating level 2. Wants to make his tanks that much stronger, getting drilling claws that will allow his Widow Mines to burrow faster, as well as Infernal Pre-Igniter, increasing the damage of his Hellions and his Hellbats. So Disruptor coming up all by its lonesome, Zealot coming up as well. Just kind of scouting things out. Oh, and the SCV forces the the Zealot forces the cancel on the command center, killing the SCV. What is this Disruptor doing? Oh man, he might get caught out here. If the Hellbats come down, he dodges back. He says, okay, I saw the rocks get destroyed. I don't want to be in there. When whatever is inside that base comes on down. +2 armor on the way, as well as Gravitic Drive for a Barcode, and double expanding now. Expanding there and expanding there. Barcode keeping up the economic pressure here. The Economist needs to make something happen. And this is what you really do against mech, because it's so slow. And it takes so long to get out a big army. You can pretty much expand everywhere that you want to, and then have enough of an economy to kind of replace the army that you lose to the mech if the mech is strong enough to do so. Which was the case in Heart of the Swarm when the upgrades for ship and vehicles were at the same place. You could get a lot of upgrades, for all of those mech units there. The Viking, free observer. Oh, Warp Prism, be careful. Widow Mine shot does get off. I think it was unnecessary, though, because the Vikings probably took it down first. But here come some Archons and some Zealots coming on in. I'm not sure if the Zealots are a great idea, because Hellbats do so well against them. Both of them end up falling here. Disruptors are ready to go, ready to rock. Purification Nova is being used on the tanks, killing 2 of them. A third one falls, forcing a liftoff of the command center, running for its life to the dead air behind its base. Meanwhile, a Hellbat attack at this base. Once again, Zealots being warped in to challenge it. I'm not sure if that was a great idea, watching all these Zealots just completely disappear. Hellbats don't do a lot of damage to buildings, but it's enough to take them down pretty quickly. The command center does live, decides to land here instead. A Zealot ready for that, though. Barcode on top of things. Warping in. Oh, warping in, but losing the pylon. Were those Stalkers? A refund was sent to Barcode, but at the same time, that's so frustrating to see there. APM right now, 247 for the Protoss player, about 100 for the Economist. And boom, does lose the Nexus there. The Hellbats are trying to hold their own, but some good micro on the Stalkers should be enough to deal with that. The army comes up to see where the command center is trying to land. Another command center attempting to land here. Widow Mines need to burrow approximately now. And they do manage to burrow and get shots off, killing a few of those Zealots, and another one falls. Excellently placed. Free Vikings? Yeah, free Vikings. Sorry, Vikings, wrong place there. Just don't want to be hanging out in the middle of the map with nothing to do. Widow Mine spread looking good. Tanks do have +1 attack, which does 55 damage versus armored. Stalkers have about 160 hit points, so 3 or 4 shots on a Stalker. Plus it does splash to their neighbors as well. +3 vehicle plating, +2 Terran weapons being researched, and another command center coming up, continuing with this base construction, as well as a sensor tower being instructed to see exactly when something comes up and tries to handle this base, because the Economist really needs to hang on to this. A little bit oversaturated with the mules right now, but that should end fairly quickly. Checking on in to see any bases over here. The Hellions are unfortunately disappointed. 3 Stalkers defending should be enough to deal with these guys, and they are gonna lose. Deciding to come in anyway and try to kill some of those workers, and getting some splash damage out, killing probes at the same time he is killing SCVs, but at the same time the Stalkers really eating them for lunch. All the Hellions explode in a fiery mess. Gonna come up this ramp is the Economist. There are tanks, there are Widow Mine shots killing everything. Disruptor shots not actually completing. A bit of a whiff there from the Barcode players. Tanks splashing on everything, however, getting evaporated. A good storm on top of all of those tanks. Triple storms. Wow, triple storms indeed. More Widow Mine shots taking out Disruptors, and forced to retreat here is the Economist. He does have Immortals. Again, Immortals good against tanks. Not as good as they used to be, but still not bad. And heading on back home. So right now, both players floating a bit of money. It does show about a Masters, again, about a Masters level style of play here. It's hard to keep spending your money while you're attacking at the same time. It's really what sets the pros apart from the average player on the ladder. Continuing to make Immortals, continuing to make Disruptors. The army count looking pretty darn good right now for a Protoss player. 10,200 minerals on that units lost tab, 4,000 gas lost, 6,800 minerals, and 2,500 gas lost for the Terran player. Heading up to try to deny yet another base. There are Widow Mines, but is it enough? The answer is you can kill 2 Stalkers, probably. Ooh, actually dodging that one with the blink. Nicely done. SCVs come in to attack their mules. Oh, Storms on top of them. Unfortunately, killing a few of his own units there, but also killing SCVs. The SCVs trying to long distance mine, getting shot in the face there. The army coming in for the Economist with the tanks and the Vikings. Widow Mines trying to burrow. No, getting killed, unfortunately, before they can actually unleash anything there. More Zealots warping on in there, and Widow Mine shots firing on everything. Zealot count looking fairly low. The tank's not even bothering to siege up, just trying to tear through these Zealots and take care of the Stalkers as well, but no. Nope, not able to do it. These Widow Mines are going to wreak havoc here if they're left alone. An observer would be nice. Ah, going to storm them out of existence. And there come the observers. Okay, so storm's a little bit unnecessary just because the observers were on the way. But another base here for the Economist. He needs to land that one. A big run by of Hellions with Blue Flame taking out a bunch of those probes. Oh, so many probes dying there. 21 SCVs have died to 20 probes for the opposition. Running on in again are the Hellions. Their pathing getting messed up by that blinked in Stalker group. And they're forced to retreat on back home. Get stuck in a corner. All of these guys are going to die. They're forced to stand and fight. But that is the end of their days. Sensor tower here. Recognizing anything that comes inside of the circle. Not showing the Terran player what it is, but instead just showing there is an army present. Hyperflight rotors. There it is. That increases the movement speed of Banshees. Ah. Going to make the Banshees go faster and also give them cloaks. So cloaked Banshees that are fast do pretty well. If they're seen by the Stalkers, they will die very quickly because Stalkers are pretty much the best anti-air unit in the game. They're just fast and they hit hard. Hydras probably do more DPS, but Stalkers are just more quick, especially with that blink ability. Heading on over here again, more Blue Flame Hellions trying to snipe down cannons of all things. Don't do that. Go after the probes, and indeed they are. Stalkers coming on in, taking out one tank. Blinking on top of another tank. Widow Mine shots, killing a bunch of them, but not enough. Nova killing the remainder of those Widow Mines. Planetary Fortress is no match for all these Immortals. Unnecessary storms again and all those workers. SCVs might be able to make it home depending on how closely Barcode's paying attention here. And he does turn around to kill the SCVs. And the mules. Another attack of Hellions coming on down, but there are cannons. There are cannons ready for that. Stalkers moving on in. Storm on top of more Widow Mines. And again, taking them on out. Banshees from the high ground, taking out 1 and 2 Stalkers. And then heading on down for more harassment. Are they needed for the attack? I don't know, but they just got blinked under and stormed, and they cloak away. Another storm, though. Wow, just the blanket of storms greatly injuring a lot of those Banshees. No, killing a couple of them, but not quite. They almost got that upgrade there. The, what is that called again? Oh, crud. I don't know, something about rotors. Where is it? Does it even show us here? It does not show us. Anyway, movement speed has definitely increased. Stalkers and Immortals and Disruptors heading on up to the left, forcing a liftoff on this base. The Economist has never been able to really establish a 5th base here. Try to get this one. Try to get this one, try to get this one. Has never really been able to make it happen. Meanwhile, Barcode is here. Did lose some workers at this base, but really, this wall of cannon is helping immensely against the harassment that the Economist has managed to bring his way. So once again, lifting out the command center does keep it alive, which is nice. Widow Mines and missile turrets here, but if this army decided to march on up, I feel like they could kill that fairly easily. Hit squad of Banshees, +3 ship plating, but no attack on those air units. Yeah, exactly. There we go. Heading on up here, Purification Nova and Storm being used to kill a bunch of those SCVs at that base. Storms are hugely important here. The tanks are coming out to try to respond. Banshees smashing down everything that they can find here, going after probes that are not retreating, forcing actually the Economist to come back home. I think he had that. He might have had that attack, but meanwhile, these Banshees is absolutely tearing into everything. Can they take down these Stalkers? It looks like they can, especially if they're cloaked. Another Stalker does fall to its doom here. Gonna force a cancel over here. Yeah, gonna try to get rid of these cannons. Yep, and then go after for more of these probes. More and more probes are falling. We are up to 50 total probes lost for our friend Barcode. Right now, the Stalkers are coming on in. Is it enough to save the Nexus? And the answer, I think, is going to be yes here. The Banshees are forced to return and fight for their lives. Void Rays, however, a great answer to Banshee because Banshees cannot shoot fellow air units. And all the Banshees get cleaned up. However, it's 51 to 39 total Harvesters. This base is now up and running. This base now up and running for the Economist. For how long, though? Barcode continuing the assault. More Banshees flying on in, taking some shots from the cannons, but going after those workers who are now smart enough to retreat in a quick amount of time there. Command center does absolutely fall. The only question is, can all of these SCVs survive? And it looks like, no, I don't think they can. This guy running away and hiding with 6 hit points. Can he live for the next 10 seconds? It looks like he is able to do so. Feedback on the Banshees, forcing many of them to decloak, but not enough. And oh, the Stalker trying to save the Nexus. No, the Nexus explodes in a cloud of blue flame and gas and dust and stuff. Vikings come flying on in to get rid of these stupid Banshees. And the Banshees do end up falling once more. That's a lot of dead Banshee. 13 dead Banshees thus far in the game. The army moving around, going to try to find these tanks out of position. And they are blinking forward, killing 1 tank. Maybe not 2 tanks. The Immortals decide to go in instead and say, yes, we will crush through these tanks. Excuse us. All the tanks get absolutely massacred. Free Widow Mines as well here. Might be some free Widow Mines. The Economist making more Banshees in that production tab. Trying to burrow and get shots off, but no, moving out of range there is Barcode. Recognizing the danger of getting too close to a Widow Mine and using Storm to clean up the rest of them. A bit of an unnecessary storm that he walks through, taking some damage on his Immortals, but that's okay. Tanks and Widow Mines coming on up. They should be able to kill this base, considering the army's on the other side here. But again, just the command center. Lot of Storm on top of all those attempting repair SCVs. Loses the command center. Indeed, the Phoenix fly on in to see what they can see. And the answer is not much. Anyway, trying to warp in Zealots here, but once again, Hellbats do a great job against Zealots, especially with +3 attack, 60 or +2 attack, 36 damage versus Light, which is what Zealots are. The tanks killing fleeing probes. It is 60 probes have been lost to 77 SCVs that have died. Tanks rolling on in. There you go. Goodbye, Mr. Cannon. The army here trying to save the base, but it's a little bit too late. I mean, right now, don't worry about those tanks. Warp in units at home to deal with that and continue to press your attack on this base, on this base, on this area. This command center should probably land, but once again, the APM at this master's level not as high as you would expect it necessarily to be. You really need to bait everything in here. Widowmine shot, catching a Void Ray, and another one catching a Phoenix there. The tank Widowmine composition, not bad. Trying to make it happen. Widowmine shots being baited onto the Widowmines, killing a Stalker. More Storms, should be able to clear out the remainder of these Widow Mines. I'm not sure the Barcode wants to stick around and see it anyway. More Banshees come flying on in, take a huge shot there with Storm. But more Stalkers getting warped on in and getting killed as quickly as they can. Banshees trying to knock down this Nexus. That would be a nice pickup. But no, all of the Phoenix come rolling on in. They're forced to retreat. Are the Banshees? Look at that move speed. 5.25. Wow. Just zipping along with that upgrade. Phoenix, how fast is their move speed? 5.95. So Phoenix are faster. No, slower. 5.25 and 5.95. Yeah, Phoenix are faster. It's just that they were cloaked, so they could not be seen by the Phoenix. So otherwise, they would have chased them down. Stalkers coming rolling on in. Widowmine shots killing a bunch of stuff there. A little bit careless there from the Economist. But again, trying to burn down this command center before it feels like the 5th or 6th time. It does end up falling. Refinery dies as well. Banshees massacring so many probes. At this, the 5th base. 1, 2, 3. This is the 5th base. I don't know. We'll call it 5th. Barcode throwing out the idiot. He mad about something. I don't know what it is, but the Phoenix are just waiting for these Banshees to decloak because they will destroy them. So it's 35 to 20 harvesters, or 30 to 25 harvesters right now. The Economist is technically in the lead. Does have this base running. Widow Mines burrowing in weird places. And I just don't know who's going to win right now. Resources lost tab, 25,000 minerals lost for our friend Barcode, 9,500 gas. 23,000 minerals, 8,000 gas lost for the Terran player. Widow Mine shots killing a bunch of those Phoenix. 83 to 79 workers lost, and that's it. Barcode with the rage quit. The Economist is victorious, and Barcode has left the game. That was one of the weirdest games I have ever seen. The Economist went mech and really never did a big push. He did kill a base with some tanks, right? He had Banshee attacks, killing workers over here. He did kill a Nexus as well with those Banshees, killed more workers down here, but he never really threatened any of the tech structures of Barcode. Barcode had a fairly conventional army, was killing bases left and right, but couldn't ever get that killing blow off. It really came down to the Widowmine strikes that were nice, the tanks that killed what they could before they were completely massacred, and really those Banshees that were the answer for the Economist. So crazy, crazy mech style play game here. Again, it didn't look very strong, but was enough to get the win today. So well played to the Economist. Well played to Barcode as well. Probably hasn't seen that strategy before. Wasn't quite sure what to do with it, but anyway, this has been Falcon Paladin with yet another daily Legacy of the Void upload. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can catch me on Twitter and Facebook, both at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thanks for watching, and you take care of yourself.